Hi, good morning out there in Facebook world. It is Thursday at 10 o'clock and it's time for Second Cup. So thank you so much for joining me. Um, Today, I want to talk about open houses. But before that, I wanted to talk about something really exciting. This is going to be a fun initiative that I'm starting, and it's called Refer Local, Support Local. And so, just by way of some background, I wanted to tell you about my company. And Howard Hanna Real Estate Services is a family owned company that started in 1957. And so now it's the fourth largest real estate company in the United States, and we're in 9 states, but never lost that local that local family owned value. So with leading real estate companies, we have a network of like-minded professionals in all of the states, but we are based here in Pittsburgh, and we've sorry, getting a little interruption here. But we're based here in Pittsburgh, and we've never lost that Pittsburgh value for our family-owned company. So people might think that real estate is shut down, and that's why I wanted to introduce this new initiative. Real estate's not shut down. So for about a month now, we have been as busy as can be, but a problem that we're having, and so every day these numbers come out, and the number of houses that go under contract is higher than the number of new houses on the market. So we have a couple of shortages, and I think a lot of it is because people don't realize that we're back. Um, Rates are crazy low, so it's a great time for buyers. And then again, we don't have enough houses on the market for all of those buyers, so our under contracts are outpacing. So long story long here, what you can do to help is help out a local business in the process, and you can help us. If you refer somebody to me, if you help me connect with someone that you know that's thinking of selling or buying, I'm going to purchase a $50 gift certificate for any local business that you choose. So if you have a friend or a neighbor that you know is thinking about selling and you help us connect, I'm going to have you pick your favorite local business, your favorite salon, your favorite restaurant, your favorite shop, even, anybody, your favorite, auto repair shop, whatever it is. I'm going to purchase a $50 gift certificate for that local business of your choice. So that's why I call it Refer Local, Support Local. So you're going to refer friends and family and know that they're going to work with a local company that knows the area and can help them out, and you're going to support a local business in the process. So I'm excited about that. So you'll see more about that if you follow me on other social media. I'm going to put some more information, but again, if you contact me and help me connect with anybody that's thinking of buying or selling, we're going to support one of the local businesses in your area as well. So that said, let's talk about open houses. So background on open houses, of course, they were traditionally Sundays from 1 to 4, right? So you would see the signs, and people would drive around and follow the little arrows and go to the houses between 1 and 4. That evolved into Saturdays and Sundays, and then it even evolved into evenings. So twilight tours, maybe one evening a month in the summer when people are on their way home from work. So the pandemic hit, and that sort of shut down, not sort of, it definitely shut down open houses. So we went to none. And we were doing all virtual open houses. So it took some time for us to sort of, get in a groove with these virtual open houses, but we had to adjust, and it went really well. But in person is back. So in-person open houses are back, but there are a lot of new rules because of the pandemic. So I wanted to talk about the new rules, but I also wanted to talk about some old rules, because I think we could all use a little refresher course with regard to in-person open houses. So the new rules first. New rules, everybody has to wear a mask, and there is a limit to how many people can be in the house at one time. So 3 people in the house at any given time, and everybody has to wear a mask. Some people are doing open houses by appointment. So in theory, the house is open from 1 to 4, but you have to sort of schedule a time slot to be there. So everybody's sort of making these adjustments, and it's something to watch out for. And it will evolve just like everything else. But what I wanted to talk about was some old rules that I think, are good to brush up on. So here we go. 5 do's and don'ts on property tours. And I think this is really important to go over. I don't think it hurts to have a refresher at any point. It's fun, of course. You get to imagine yourself in new spaces. You get to see how people decorate. You get to see new houses, old charming houses. But there are some mistakes that people make, and I think it's a good idea to brush up on it. Don't bring an entourage. That's always sort of been a rule. It's nice that your friends and family are involved, but it's not the time to bring everybody to the open house, and especially now because we have a limit. We have a limit to how many people can be in the house anyway. So you don't want to have all of those people in the house, extended family, friends, people that aren't involved in the decision process. That's the main thing. The people that should be at the open house are the people that are making the decisions. Do assume that the owner is watching and listening. So especially in the year 2020, you have to assume that there are cameras, and those cameras could quite possibly be recording. Homeowners could be watching on their phones. They could be listening on their phones, nanny cams, any of those things. And so when you're going through, first of all, it's just common courtesy to treat that home as if it were your own with courtesy. But also when you're talking about it, you don't want to talk about things that down the road could hurt your negotiating stance. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. So definitely assume that the owner is watching and listening. Don't take photos and video or do any live streaming. So again, it's probably tempting to get into Facebook Live or Instagram and start snapping pictures and, hey, look, I'm at this great open house and everything. But you don't have the owner's permission, and you could be, inadvertently posting things in their house that they don't want out there. So don't do that. It's certainly, if you want to take pictures of a specific room to remember something, you can ask the agent that's there. If they can get permission, then you can do it, but don't take it upon yourself. Use your imagination. So every homeowner has different tastes. If the house isn't decorated particularly in your style, that's probably common, but picture it decorated as your style. So look at things like the size of the rooms, or the floor plan, or the yard, definitely the location. Those are things that you can't change. Most things in a house you can change. You can change carpet and floor and walls. So you look at it in terms of potential. And last but not least, don't help yourself to the bathroom. This is never a good idea, and it's especially not a good idea now. So we're having to do things like wipe down touch surfaces, light switches, doorknobs, everything, just to keep people safe. And it's never a good idea to begin with, but definitely don't do it now. So those are just some do's and don'ts that I think are good to go over in terms of open houses. So back to sort of talking about you know, treating the house with respect, and some of the things, the old rules, those 5 do's and don'ts. Some other ones: sign in. So there's going to be an agent there that is going to ask you to sign in. Sign in, and don't fake sign in. Think about it in terms of that homeowner who has left their house for 3 hours or however many hours it is. Put yourself in their shoes. That's a lot of trust. And they're letting people come in that they don't know, and they don't know anything about. And so there's a level of trust there that I think you should put yourself in their shoes and just sign in with the agent. If you don't want the agent to contact you after the open house for marketing purposes, just tell them that. But again, and we're in this post-pandemic phase of life, you know, contact tracing has become a big thing. And so if somebody finds out that they were not feeling well, or someone in that house wasn't feeling well, certainly we are all going to want to get in touch with anybody that was in that house or in touch with people who were in contact. So it's a good idea to do it. And it isn't that big of a burden to sign in. Just sign in for that agent that's there. So let's talk about that agent that's there. Who is that agent? So the agent that's at the open house is an agent that works for the seller or the listing agent. Sometimes it's the listing agent, the name you see on the sign when you pull up. Sometimes it's a member of their team. But the thing to remember is that that agent works for the seller. So when you're going through this house and you're thinking about things like, maybe I'm being recorded, or maybe I'm chatting with people that I brought to the open house, and you start to get really excited and jump up and down, and this is perfect, this is amazing, and it's so far under our budget. What's going to happen when you make an offer on the house? You sort of lose your negotiating power at that point, because you've said all of that in front of the agent that works for the seller or a member of their team. So sometimes it's a good idea to take a buyer's agent, your own buyer's agent, with you to the open house. Or just walk through the open house politely, quietly, maybe not divulging too much information to that agent that's there. So that's a lot of information. It brings me to the topic of virtual open houses. And frankly, during the pandemic, I think a lot of sellers started to be positive about the idea of virtual open houses. I mean, if you think about it, you can have an open house every week and the seller doesn't have to leave their house. So in theory, they could leave their house for half an hour to an hour one time and do a virtual open house. And that could be done every week. And it's so much easier than leaving for 3 hours a day, 3 hours on one day each week. For buyers, it's a great idea because you can sort of pre-screen these houses. So with all of these new requirements and having to wear masks and having to limit how many people can see the house at one time, you want to cut down on the amount of time that you're in a mask. Why not pre-screen them with these virtual walkthroughs, virtual open houses, virtual tours? They're becoming more and more popular. I think in some areas, nothing's ever going to replace that walking into a house and getting a feel for it, and you just feel it and you can picture everything. But I think the bottom line is, first of all, be respectful of the house. Second of all, just remain neutral when you're in the house. Remember that the person that's there hosting that open house works for the seller. Make sure that you put yourself in the seller's shoes and think about signing in and just being responsible with signing in and being responsible with how you treat their house and walk through their house. And I think traditional and virtual open houses will continue to be a big success. So I hope that was helpful information today. Again, back to the beginning of the show, I talked about refer local, support local. If you know of anybody thinking of selling or buying, connect us, and I will purchase a $50 gift certificate for the local business of your choice, your favorite restaurant, your favorite salon, your favorite boutique, whatever it is, whatever local business that you want to support and keep afloat right now. You can support them just by connecting me with someone who needs real estate help. So if you follow me here, you can connect with me here through direct message. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Crystal A Realtor. That one's easy. You can connect with me by email at calfonsi@howardhanna.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. So refer local, support local, and be respectful in those open houses this weekend. Hope everyone has a great week and a great weekend. Bye-bye.